Now I'll share my screen and we'll get started here. Okay, so if you're seeing my screen, you see the question written here. If w is squared plus n squared I minus 7 times 13 minus 16i equals -1 minus 2i, where I is equal to the square root of -1, what are the values of n which satisfy the given equation? So any idea how to start here?
Would you like distribute the 7?
Distribute
Or
-7.
should you plug in the I first?
Well, this is actually extra information. You already know this. This is just a sort of a like a, I don't know. It's like saying x to the 0 equals 1. Like it doesn't help you, but it's just information. Why can I drop the parentheses on the first one here? Is there anything here?
No.
No. So there's nothing there holding them there. They're just extra.
Okay.
So minus 7 times 13. You want to distribute that. So it's like 7 times 10, that's 70. 7 times 3, that's 21. So minus 91. 2 negatives make a positive. 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 6 is 42. So that's 112i equals -1 minus 2i.
So then you can combine. Oh, I guess you can't really combine anything.
Well, what you should see though is that there's a part that does not contain any i's, and there's a part that does contain i's. Because on the right, there's a part that does contain an I and a part that does not. So see how this goes with the -1, w squared minus 91 goes with the -1?
Yeah.
And this one over here goes with this one here. So there's really two things it could be asked for. It's asking for n, but it could just as well be asking for w, because you could do that as well. Okay. So let's do them both. We'll do n first, and then we'll solve for w. So we're going to set n squared I plus 112i equal to -2i. And then over here on the left, you're going to factor out an I. So now you set the part that does not have an I equal to this part. And then you solve for n here. So you subtract 112 from both sides. And then you take a square root here. So n equals plus or minus the square root of minus 114. This is where the fact that the square root of -1 can be used, because the right side.
You take the I out, right? Or
yeah, it becomes this, and this is what becomes I. So it's plus or minus I square root 114, which is given. Okay, so a couple things, I guess, just to remind you of here. First is the less, you would not obviously want to write down all of this to do this question.
Right.
Can you go from, like, say, this line here to the one down here?
Yeah,
probably. You don't want to write subtract 112. You want to write that. If you know what it is, maybe you can just immediately do that, where you square root it. A lot of things there. Now, let's do this other part of the problem. Let's do this w squared minus 91 equals -1. That's the real part here. So if you add 91 both sides, what does it become?
90.
90. Okay. And then when you take a square root, it's plus or minus the square root of 90. This does reduce. So it's 3 and 30, 3 and 10. So it's plus or minus 3 square root 10.
Okay. So what is that? Oh.
And that's not there, because this question only asks for n, but if you weren't paying attention to what it asked for, you could reasonably solve for the wrong thing.
Right.
Okay, so let me pull up a question and give you one just like it. This was okay, 4-2. All right, so this one is similar. So let me get it snipped in here. As you work through this one, try to only write down the steps that are absolutely necessary for you.
Okay.
This one again wants you to solve for f, which is here. But you're probably going to want to write out this first line. So go ahead and try writing out that first line where you distribute the negative 5, the 5, negative 5 to both.
Okay.
Okay, so did you get this line down?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so now since we're solving for f, we only care about the stuff with an f in it. So this has f, but it's got an I in it, it's got an I in it, and it's got an I in it.
Well, I just like rearranged it. So like b squared plus 45
Yeah.
plus f squared I.
So rather than writing that step, what I would hope you could do at some point here is maybe just write the stuff that you need.
Yeah, okay.
Now from here, you're supposed to factor out an I as like the necessary step, but they all have I's in them, so you can just write it. You can skip a step there by just writing f squared plus 85 equals minus 7.
But you don't need the I in the front.
Nope, because they all have it.
Oh, okay.
They all have it. So that's a.
So then you would. 85 over, so that's 78. Oh wait.
Okay, so then it's f squared equals negative 92. F equals plus or minus the square root of negative 92.
And that doesn't simplify anymore.
It does. You notice the answer's not there. I mean, this minus 92 is there, but it's this answer. It does reduce because it's plus or minus I square root 92.
Oh, right.
And then it's 2 and 46, 2 and 23. That's plus or minus. You can pull a 2 out. 2 square root 23. 2I. I almost didn't write it. So notice the answer here is right here.
Okay.
Let's do this other part that I mentioned. Let's do the real part. So this g squared, 45 and minus 18. So it's g squared plus 45 equals minus 18.
Okay. So you subtract the 45. So that would be negative 63. Take the square root of that.
Now, so this one may not look like it, but it does reduce. It's plus or minus the square root of minus 63.
So that's.
So that's 3 and 21, 3 and 7.
So 3. Oops. G equals plus or minus 3I root 7.
Yep. Yeah, that one is there, which, I mean, if you went down the wrong road, you could, easily solve for the wrong thing. So let's do another one here, like this. Make sure you know which variable you're solving for before you start tackling the heart of algebra steps here. Okay. All right, so give yourself, no, this is a little longer here. Give yourself, 2 minutes here to see if you can solve it.
Okay. Eight. Okay, I got C.
Okay, how are you doing on this one?
I got C.
You get letter C. Let me check that. It is letter C. Good. All right. Do you want one more of these? Or do you want to move on to something else?
No, I think I'm good. I like these actually. Kind of
Okay.
fun.
These are the heart of algebra. They're the ones that are just kind of do this, do the steps that you're used to, and it's totally reasonable that you will do well in these. Okay, so we're looking at. I know you've seen this problem before, but we'll just hopefully we only have to do one of these. So this is it's a bakery problem. It's talking about two different things that can be made. Rates. Rates are always uh, something per unit time.
Hmm.
Like your I don't know. It's your in this case it's like goods per unit time. And if you take your rate and you multiply it by time, if you take your rate and multiply time, you get the goods. So that see if you can do that. See if you can use that information for this one.
Wouldn't it just be A?
So Gabe makes M cakes per hour times 7, and Tiffany makes R turnovers per hour times 12. And then we want the number of baked goods in N weeks. So X is equal to N times 7M plus 12R. And then when you solve this for N equals X over 7M plus 12R. You will see some sort of a problem where they ask you to do something with rates in there. Okay, let's do another word problem. This one though is we're moving into the section where there are no answers. So
Okay.
you have to be able to come up with something reasonable. No calculator on this. We have seen this problem before, so you probably have a good idea of how to do it. Um, Go ahead and give this a shot here and see how you do.
How do you like start this? I know I've seen this before, but I don't remember.
The key word here is is something is directly related, and that's y equals kx. Okay, and we can be more specific here. It says that Denmark is directly related to uh, Iran.
So it'd be 1.78.
Yeah, equals k times 0.89.
Okay. And then we divide by 0.89.
So it may not seem like it would. K is 2. This number actually goes nicely into that one.
Uh-huh.
And then you can rewrite your equation here. You can say d equals 2 times, I ran I, maybe use short letters if you can.
Well, they just be asking you, wait, what frequency? Same day in Denmark. So would 2, would that be the answer?
No, they're giving you new information. So the way both of these work, whether it's direct or inversely proportional related to each other, is you always find k, solve for k, then you use k to solve for x or y.
Oh, okay.
So you know what I mean? So you know what I mean by that? Like we get k, but if I give you I, you can find d. If I give you d, you can find I. Well, which did I give you down here?
You gave uh
Gave you I, because it says in Iran it was expected to be 0.17. It's asking about Denmark.
well, what would that be in the k equals? Would that be, I mean, y equals kx? Would that be the x? Is what you gave,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay. So then you just do that. And then, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Now does 0.34 work? Absolutely. It's
so it'd be 0.34
yes.
H3. Okay.
Okay, so now probably good to pull up another one like this. What's that? What was that? Was that okay, for 2? All right, so let me. Oh no, that was not the right one. I grabbed the wrong question. I'm sorry. Get caught up here. 5.2. All right, so I'm going to snip this one in without the multiple choice, and then give this one a try. Make it a little larger here.
Wait, they give you two values for Pakistan though.
They do, but they tell you on the same Thursday. Like
Okay,
they
so you
measure
use
them once
the
on
first.
Thursday and then again on Thursday.
Okay, you use the first one.
Yeah.
So then 10 equals 0.3. And then you multiply that by 2.41. 0.47.
That is correct.
Okay.
Good. All right. Let's do the other fork on this, meaning it's just different information, but it's it's the same sort of question. And this time I'll give you the multiple choice answers for it. Uh,
Okay. One, 2, 0, plus K times 4.
so did you find that K is 5?
Yeah, that's why
Great.
I'm kind of stuck on what to do.
Okay, so you've got to always rewrite this equation here. N equals 5 times S. And this time, they give you the information about Nepal, and they want you to find it for Syria.
Oh, so do you plug in 1.85 equals?
Yes,
Okay, gotcha.
yes.
So I need to divide by 5.
Yeah.
And three times. Okay, 0.37.
Great. Excellent. Yeah, it's you got that there. Okay. So let's see here. We'll go back to the test and we'll look at another one here. We've done this one a bunch, so I'll snip it in. I don't think we'll have to do very many related ones.
Negative 16x plus 3. X minus. So you're just trying to get x and y on the same side, basically?
What you have is a system. You may not see it that way, but this is a system with equation 1 and equation 2. It's a system where one of the variables is almost solved for. You can take equation 2 and you can solve it for y.
15.
Y is 15. Once you have a variable, you always substitute it back into the first equation.
Oh, okay, yes.
Now this one has a little added wrinkle that it's it's a little bit challenging multiplication there, but it's totally doable. It's even if you have to write it out long. Longhand.
45, so it's 9. And 9. 5, 2, 385. Is that or negative 385? Is that right?
Yeah, so it's like 400, but then you take away 15, so negative 385.
And you go to negative 16x, and then minus 3, so it's negative 388, and then, oh, no. So 16 goes into that. 2 times 668. It's not a whole number, right?
It should be, yeah, it should be. So like what I see is like 16 times 20 gets me to 320. And wait, maybe we didn't multiply this correctly. Oh no, it's 285.
285.
Yeah, that's 288, 288. So that changes what you do here. You try to find the biggest number you know, and maybe it's just 10, but 10 times 16 is 160. That leaves 128 left. You might see 128 is 64 times 64. 64 goes into 16 4 times. So if you have two of them, that's 8. So that's how you get 18 for that. And of course, you can do it out, this way if needed. But without that, this problem would be so trivial in terms of the calculations. It's trying to emphasize here that you've got to be able to do these types of multiplications and divisions reasonably well.
So is the value of x minus y, is it 18 minus 15? Is that what they're trying to get you to do?
Yep.
So 3?
Yep. So you could easily do everything right and put down 15 or 18, 15 or 3, and the only one that's right is that one.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so let me pull up another one here like this. Okay, here we go. Found one here. I'll no multiple choice on this because this is one of those that can really bias how you do it. But go ahead and give that a try, please.
12. Times 14. Minus 12 is negative 16. Then you do two, three, okay, I got negative 2.
For the subtraction of them,
Yes.
should be positive 2. So when you subtract 12, you get x equals 240 divided by negative 15. What did you get for that?
Negative 16?
Right. So x minus y is negative 16 minus a minus 14. Huh, interesting. Okay. Let me check the solutions here and see what the error is. Because there shouldn't be one. That everything. It is minus 2. The answers are not correct. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was Let's look at the answers are correct, and that is correct. Okay, great. It is -2.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Let's go back to the test here. And okay, so this is this question here is put into this problem because it
Sorry, I have a question.
of
When
course.
you're doing like the long like multiplication, like so it's just like 18 times 14, for example.
Mhm.
So you do like, sorry, I'm writing it up. So you do like 8 times 4, which is 32, and then you bring the 3 up, and then you do 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7, and then you add like a 0, right, on the next line because it's
Yeah, so this becomes
double.
7, and then you put a 0 here.
And so then that's 8, and then that's 2. But then when you add them, so it's 2, but that's 15. So don't you have to carry, oh, wait. Oh, that's why. I did 1 times 1 equals
Yeah.
2, which
Yep,
is
there it
not
is.
true. Okay. Never mind. Answer my own question.
Okay, great. We got it. So the next question here is again, it's free response, so you have to you have to work out your answer. There's a lot here. There's always a problem, and we looked at a few in your test where there's so many words you just have to get through, and they sometimes even break them up. Here it's just one chunky block of text. So go ahead and read through it, and then we'll see if we can figure out how to get through it together.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a nice like story problem where there's a lot of things going on here. So it says if the total time that passes from when Kelly makes the call, so we have sort of a starting point here. Kelly calls,
Right.
and then sometime later, Mel is returned to the ground. We know that that's 127.5 minutes. Somehow we're supposed to figure out how far away station 49 is. So what happens when Kelly calls? Let's go through that.
She's on hold for 45
Yep.
seconds.
So there's 45 seconds there. And since this is in minutes, you might want to convert that to, or you might want to convert the seconds to minutes to start.
Okay. Is this like a D equals
Yes.
RT?
D equals RT. Fire truck travels at a rate. Oh no, they take 45 seconds before getting on the road. This is another kind of issue there. They travel at 30 kilometers per hour until it arrives. So some amount of time passes and then they arrive. And we know that in this kind of window here that their rate is 45 kilometers per hour. Hunter, who leads the rescue, takes 6 minutes to return the person to the ground. And then we're done, right? Like that takes care of the story. So how much time were they on the road?
100. So you do 127 minus
So
6
-6 minus these are 3/4 or 0.75.
times 2.
Yep.
Minus 6 minus.
So they're on the road for 120 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And we know that they travel at a rate of 45 kilometers per hour. Do you see any problems with the units there between those two?
Wait, isn't it 30? 30 miles? 30?
Oh, I'm sorry, 30. Yes, 30 kilometers per hour. Thank you.
Well, do you do like d equals 120 times 30 then?
You could, but the problem is this is in kilometers per hour and this is in minutes.
Oh,
So there are how many minutes in an hour?
60.
So that it really they're on the road for 2 hours.
Okay, yeah. 2 hours. So then you do.
Now you can make it work. Your distance is equal to your rate times your time. Your rate is 30, and your distance and your time is 2.
So 60.
60
So 60 miles. That's how far away it is.
kilometers. But now that you've seen it, I'm sure you can do another one like that. The but really the skill here is, can you take the information that's relevant, and there's a lot of information that's not relevant, at least for this one, like that's not relevant. The fact that she waited 6 minutes, the fact that she yelled is not relevant. Nothing is relevant until there.
Well, isn't it relevant for the 6 minutes because you need to subtract that?
6 minutes was down here from the
Oh,
there, and the fact that it's station 49, like that doesn't really matter either. So there's so sometimes there's information that's given at the beginning, the end, the middle. You have to piece through, and like you said, you thought that 6 minutes initially was that 6 minutes. That's easy mistake to see that they're not really related at all. Um, okay, so let me get this question. Okay, so let's do another one here. No answers this time. Let's see if you can do it. It's the exact same question, just different numbers. So give yourself 2 minutes to do this. This is a longer problem. Not all problems are created for the same amount of time, but give that a look there. I'll give you about 2 minutes.
Okay. So 71 minus. Minutes. G equals.
It kind of is, yeah.
30 times.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, so any questions on this one so far?
Um, no, I'm just on the
Okay.
last
All right.
part. Okay, so that's 1 hour and 4 minutes. uh, so is it? If it's 1 hour and 4 minutes, would you do 1.04?
No, so 1 hour and 4 minutes is 1 hour, like you said, and it's 4 out of 60, which would be whatever that reduces to. This is a free response question, and it's a nice number. The answer is not anything awkward or weird.
Oh, so I did something wrong.
Yep.
Okay, so I did 71 minus 9 minus 0.5 because that's the 30 seconds over, and then minus 1.5,
Okay. What did you get for all that?
64.
So it's 9 and then this is 2. That's 11. So should be 60.
Huh.
I think that's where you're getting that weird number there.
Oh yeah, interesting. Okay, so then that's just times 1, so it should be just 30.
Okay. So your final answer is 30 kilometers.
Yeah, final answer.
That is correct. Okay. So these are D equals RT problems. The um, you've got to be comfortable with this formula. Some conversions we did in here, minutes to hours, seconds to minutes could be possible here. Those are just things to think about, just to be kind of distracting, throughout these problems. But good job. That takes us to the end of that test, but we didn't do a couple of questions. I'm going to go back and grab them, then we'll keep going on some other stuff. I know we haven't done much trig, and that is covered in some ways on this test. So I want to pull up some of those questions.
Do they make you do like cosine and tangent and that kind of stuff?
Sometimes, but it's the trig you would see in geometry. So it's not a depth. But it's needed. So okay, I know you've seen this question before. Give it a try here and see if you can figure it out.
Okay.
And then we'll work through it together if we need to.
So J equals 1 4 number of years. It's 2. Oops. Would you do T? Would T be 32 minus 2020?
It is. It's 20. The first T is 2032 minus 2020,
Okay.
which is 12 years. And then the second T is 2056 minus 2020, which is 36.
What's a number to the -1?
It is the reciprocal.
Oh, so 1 4.
So I think you're seeing that J equals A is 1, 4 minus 12 over 12. It's 4 to the minus 1 power. That's 1 over 4.
Okay. Then this one is 36, -36 over 12. So that's 4 to the -3, which is 1 over 12. Oh, 1 over 7.
Okay, so now you got to subtract. You got to subtract 1/4 minus 1 over 64.
So find a common denominator. So that's, we multiply that by 12. 12 over 64 minus 1 over 64. So it's 11 over 64. So B. Is it B?
Sorry, let me get back to that. It is that question 2? It is letter D.
D.
Because to get from 4 to 64, you multiply by 16. So it's 16 over 64 minus 1 over 64 is.
Oh, why did I
15.
think it was multiplied by 12? Interesting. Okay, that's why I messed up.
Okay, let's do another one of these. I mean, this is it's got a lot of really good stuff in it, but it's essentially testing your ability to evaluate exponents and subtract fractions and change of variables, but find one that's got a reasonable number space. Okay, here's one. Okay, here it is. So give this one a try. It's the same Same setup as before, just different numbers.
10, 10, 1/3, 3, 40 minus 30. Third, 1, 9. Three, 9, 1. C.
Letter C. All right, number 5 there is letter C. Good. Okay, so let's just review a little bit on exponent rules just to close out here because I don't think we have time to do any more problems here. So any number or variable to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So like it could be, 12xy squared over 35 pi to the 4th, all to the power of 0 equals 1. Anything to the power of 1 to any power is always 1. There's a couple of things to review here. Now, the ones that you care about are like the negative exponents. So n to the negative, I'm sorry, let me write it correctly. X to the negative n is 1 over x to the n. So an example of that would be x to the negative 4 is 1 over x to the 4th. It is very much related to 1 over x to the negative n equals x to the n. So if I write 1 over 5 to the negative 7, this equals 5 to the 7th. And you have to be really comfortable moving back and forth between these two. So really, we'll do maybe 1 or 2 quick questions here. 2x squared to the negative 1 power. We're using this property that x to the negative n equals 1 over x to the n. X is whatever's in parentheses. So in this case, you take all of this and you move it to the bottom.
Okay. So you don't do anything with the negative 1, just means it would be 1 over.
Negative, you have to train your brain to say that means reciprocal, flip, okay. not multiplication, flip, multiplication, flip. Okay, so this is a great place for us to stop. If you need another practice exam, I know you said you had one, just give me, give me a day's notice if you need one. I'll be happy to send another one out to you. I'll send you the notes and the screen recording out here shortly. Thanks again for scheduling. I'll see you next time.